Thor Love and Thunder movie synopsis by Zillur Movies Recapped. Thor Love and Thunder is a 2022 American superhero film primarily based on Marvel Comics presenting the personality Thor, produced through Marvel Studios and dispensed by way of Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It is the sequel to Thor Ragnarok, 2017, and the 29th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. The movie is directed by means of Taika Waititi, who co-wrote the script with Jennifer Caton Robinson, and stars Chris Hemsworth as Thor alongside Christian Bale, Tessa Thompson, Jamie Alexander, Waititi, Russell Crowe, and Natalie Portman. In the film, Thor tries to discover internal peace, however ought to return to motion and recruit Valkyrie, Thompson, Korg, Waititi, and Jane Foster, Portman, who is now the mighty Thor, to quit Gore the God Butcher, Bale, from getting rid of all gods. Hemsworth and Waititi had mentioned plans for a sequel to Ragnarok by using January 2018. Love and Thunder used to be introduced in July 2019, with Hemsworth, Waititi, and Thompson all set to return, as properly as Portman, who did now not show up in Ragnarok. Waititi desired to differentiate Love and Thunder from Ragnarok, searching for to make a romance movie and 1980s-inspired adventure. He tailored factors from Jason Aaron's run on the Mighty Thor comedian book, which sees Foster take on the mantle and powers of Thor even as below therapy for cancer. Robinson joined to make a contribution to the script in February 2020, and similarly casting was once printed later that 12 months, which includes the look of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Production used to be predicted to start in late 2020, however used to be delayed by using the COVID-19 pandemic. Filming sooner or later started in January 2021 in Sydney, Australia, and concluded at the commencing of June. Thor Love and Thunder premiered at the El Capitan Theatre in Hollywood on June 23, 2022, and was once launched in the United States on July 8, as Phase 4 of the MCU. The movie obtained reward for its light-hearted nature and the performances of Bale, Portman and Hemsworth, whilst criticism was once aimed at the screenplay and tonal inconsistency, with various critics deeming the movie inferior to its predecessor. Love and Thunder has grossed $737 million worldwide, turning into the sixth highest-grossing movie of 2022. Synopsis: Gore, the ultimate of his people, spends his days striving to continue to exist on a barren wilderness with his daughter Love. He prays to his god Rapu for help, however Love quickly dies of starvation. Just as he starts off evolved to hear a voice calling out to him in the distance, Gore discovers an oasis, the place he finds Rapu, who had killed the present-day wielder of an historical weapon regarded as all-black, the Necrosword. Rapu makes exciting of Gore for his helplessness and refuses to grant any assistance. Feeling betrayed, Gore claims the Necrosword and beheads him, and vows for the removal of all gods. Thor continues his adventures with the Guardians of the Galaxy, responding to misery calls throughout the universe whilst working to get lower back in shape. However, Thor stays discontent with the place he is in life, and intends to retire. An inflow of misery calls concerning Gore emerge, one of them being from Sif, who had hunted him down. Thor and Korg reply to Sif's call, parting methods with the Guardians, who depart to reply to the others. They locate a defeated Sif with her arm severed, who warns them that Gore will assault New Asgard next. Meanwhile, Dr. Jane Foster undergoes remedy for stage 4 cancer. Efforts to look up for a treatment show futile and she begins to lose hope. However, Foster turns into stimulated to tour to New Asgard in hopes that their magic can assist take away the cancer. As Thor has unknowingly enchanted it to guard Foster whilst they had been together, Mjolnir will become drawn to her presence, fusing itself returned call. Lectively and imbuing her with the powers of the mighty Thor. That night, Gore makes use of the Necrosword to swarm New Asgard with shadow monsters. Thor, Korg, and Sif arrive to confront them, as does King Valkyrie and Foster, who Thor is amazed to see. While they had been capable to repel the monsters, Gore escapes with Asgard's children, which includes Heimdall's son Axel. Thor communicates with Axel and deduces that the young people are in the Shadow Realm. Knowing that Gore's energy would be at its height there, Thor, Foster, Valkyrie, and Korg tour to Omnipotence City to warn Zeus of Gorr and ask for an military to assist battle him. Unconvinced that Gorr is a chance to Omnipotence City, Zeus rather has Thor captured, forcing the others to intervene and fend off Zeus' men. In the scuffle, Zeus makes use of his thunderbolt to smash Korg's body. Solely his face stays intact, although this is sufficient for him to survive. Enraged, Thor makes use of the thunderbolt to impale Zeus in the chest, which Valkyrie steals as the crew escapes to confront Gorr in the Shadow Realm. On the way, Thor learns of Foster's most cancer's diagnosis, and the two reignite their relationship. Upon arrival, they strive to hit upon the children, solely to comprehend that they had fallen for a trap. Gorr meant to take Stormbreaker in order to make use of the Bifrost Bridge to get admission to Eternity, the place he can want for the extinction of the gods. They warfare Gorr and his shadow monsters as soon as more, however are pressured to flee return to New Asgard as soon as Valkyrie and Foster are weakened. Before Stormbreaker can be transported throughout the Bifrost, Gorr steals it. Thor is knowledgeable that the outcomes of Mjolnir are annoying Foster's cancer, and he urges her to continue to be at the backup to recover. Valkyrie is additionally unable to proceed fighting, leaving the Thunderbolt in Thor's possession so that he can battle Gorr again. At the core of the universe, Gorr starts off evolved opening Eternity's gate with Stormbreaker. Thor arrives and imbues the youth with the strength of Thor, giving them sufficient electricity to overcome the last shadow monsters. Gorr positive factors the higher hand in opposition to Thor. Having sensed his distress, Foster decides to wield Mjolnir once more in spite of her weakened circumstance and be part of the fight. Thor offers Foster adequate time to use Mjolnir to shatter the Necrosword into pieces, dooming herself and Gorr. Thor recovers Stormbreaker and has the adolescents use it to return home, however they ought to now not cease Gorr from getting into Eternity. Thor calls out to Gorr and pleads for him to select love over loss of life as he rushes to Foster's side. Their love reminded him of the love he had for his daughter, therefore finding out to use his wand to resurrect love. Foster quickly succumbs to the cancer, vanishing into Valhalla. Thor accepts Gorr's request to take custody of Love earlier than he dies from the Necrosword's curse. In the aftermath, a statue of Foster as the mighty Thor is erected in New Asgard. Sif and Valkyrie commence education the kids in combat, whilst Korg's physique entirely regenerates as he seeks to produce an offspring. Thor starts off evolved to elevate Love as his personal daughter, entrusting her with Stormbreaker whilst he wields Mjolnir into battle. The two commence visiting the galaxy providing help to whomever wants it, turning into recognized as Love and Thunder. In a mid-credits scene, a convalescing Zeus sends his son Hercules to kill Thor. In a post-credits scene, Foster arrives at the gates of Valhalla, the place Heimdall welcomes her and thanks her for assisting Stor his son. Plot: Gorr and his daughter, Love, hostilities in a barren desert. Despite their prayers to their god, Rapu, Love dies. The god-killing Necrosword weapon calls to Gorr, main him to Rapu's lush realm. After Rapu cruelly dismisses Gorr's plight, he ces the god, inflicting Rapu to strangle him. The Necrosword presents itself to Gorr, who kills Rapu with it and vows to kill all gods. Gorr is granted the capacity to manipulate shadows and produce monsters, however is cursed with impending loss of life and corruption below the sword's influence. After Gorr kills countless gods, Thor, who has joined the Guardians of the Galaxy, N1, learns of a misery sign from Sif. He components approaches with the group and finds an injured Sif, who warns that Gorr's subsequent goal is New Asgard. Meanwhile, Dr. Jane Foster, Thor's ex-girlfriend, has been recognized with stage 4 terminal cancer. With clinical therapy proving ineffective, she travels to New Asgard hoping that Thor's hammer Mjolnir, which was once until now fractured by means of Hela, N2, may heal her. Due to an enchantment Thor unknowingly positioned on it years formerly to guard Foster, Mjolnir reforges and bonds itself to her. Thor arrives in New Asgard simply as Gorr's assault begins. Thor is amazed to discover Foster wielding Mjolnir, however groups up with her, Valkyrie, and Korg to battle Gorr. The crew thwarts Gorr, however he escapes, kidnapping quite a few Asgardian youth and imprisoning them in the Shadow Realm. Having inherited the capabilities of his deceased father Heimdall, his son Axel contacts Thor, who finds the children. The team travels to Omnipotence City to warn the different gods and ask for their assist in growing an army. The chief of the gods, Zeus, fears Gorr and is unwilling to help, questioning they can continue to be secure and hidden from Gorr in the city. Zeus orders the group's seas to stop them from exposing the city's place to Gorr. When Zeus injures Korg, Thor impales Zeus with his personal thunderbolt, which Valkyrie steals earlier than they escape. As the experience continues, Thor and Foster relight their romantic relationship and Foster displays her illness. The crew arrives at the Shadow Realm, however are unable to hit upon the children. Foster deduces that the kidnappings had been a entice for Gorr to take Thor's axe, Stormbreaker, in order to summon the Bifrost and enter the realm of eternity, who can furnish his wand to break all gods. Gorr overpowers the group, severely injuring Valkyrie. The team retreats lower back to Earth, even though Gorr manages to steal Stormbreaker. Drained of her electricity every time she makes use of Mjolnir, Foster is warned that the use of it as soon as greater will possibly kill her. Thor persuades Foster to let him battle Gorr on my own whilst she recuperates. Thor finds the kidnapped teenagers at Eternity's altar and, the usage of Zeus's thunderbolt, imbues them with his strength to battle Gorr's monsters whilst he battles Gorr. When Foster senses that Gorr is about to kill Thor, she joins the conflict with Mjolnir to store him. They smash the Necrosword, releasing Gorr from its influence. However, the three are introduced into Eternity's realm. With Gorr poised to make his wish, Thor implores Gorr to revive his daughter rather of destroying the gods. Thor then leaves Gorr to make his selection and attends to Foster, who succumbs to her sickness and dies in his arms. Moved by way of their display, Gorr desires for Eternity to revive love, which it grants. As Gorr dies from the curse, he requests Thor to take care of love. In the aftermath, the young people return to New Asgard, the place Valkyrie and Sif commence education them, and a monument in honor of Foster is built. Thor adopts Love, who joins him in his heroics, with the former wielding Mjolnir and the latter wielding Stormbreaker. In a mid-credits scene, again in Omnipotence City, a improving Zeus sends his son Hercules to kill Thor. In a post-credits scene, Foster arrives at the gates of Valhalla, the place Heimdall welcomes her. Summaries: Thor enlists the assist of Valkyrie, Korg and ex-girlfriend Jane Foster to battle Gorr the God Butcher, who intends to make the gods extinct. Thor's retirement is interrupted via a galactic killer regarded as Gorr the God Butcher, who seeks the extinction of the gods. To fight the threat, Thor enlists the assist of King Valkyrie, Korg and ex-girlfriend Jane Foster, who, to Thor's shock, inexplicably wields his magical hammer, Mjolnir, as the mighty Thor. Together, they embark upon a harrowing cosmic journey to find the thriller of the God Butcher's vengeance and quit him earlier than it is too late. After the occasions of Avengers Endgame, Thor now units off on a private trip of discovering who he is via internal peace. But now Thor is referred to as again into motion as soon as greater when he takes on a lethal new adversary named Gorr the God Butcher, who seeks the extinction of all the gods. To face this new foe, Thor groups with Korg, Valkyrie and his ancient flame Jane Foster, who especially has been bonded with his historic hammer Mjolnir. Thor Love and Thunder was once an unique film as some distance as Thor films are predicted to be, even though I felt this film targeted and relied extra on the comedic aspect of matters as an alternative than diving deeper into the character's origin. Gorr the God Butcherer, Christian Bale, used to be magnificent, really a standout performance. Chris Hemsworth is incredible at taking part in Thor. He invests a lot into the function as we've got considered over the years and with a bit of luck extra to come. I'll admit I was once skeptical at first in the choice of bringing Jane Foster, Lady Thor again into the Combine as her personality has had no applicable display time to the story for many years. However, I used to be wrong, she used to be brilliant. I could not assist, however, give some thought to the place Loki was. I was once anticipating a reunion, a affirmation of Loki's viable survival for Thor, however nothing. I recognize it's all a diagram and I have belief it will be incredible. I cannot wait to see Thor return on the massive screen. I'd relatively propose this one. No longer the high quality ever, however nevertheless very entertaining. Thor's fourth-function movie more and more blurs the line between exciting and farce, though it in the main succeeds in what it units out to do. Taika receives a little too a good deal free rein as there are many pointless jokes. I truly hope you like screaming goats. In addition, it is regularly tough to take the dramatic moments severely when you suppose there is about to be a comic story inserted to undercut it. Natalie is a great addition as she brings some gravitas, then again her personality is saddled with some occasional bad dialogue. Hemsworth is sport as continually with his stellar comedic chops. His interactions with his quite a number weapons are some of the pleasant scenes in the film. The hues and vibrancy Waititi brings continues to be a spotlight, and one precise scene on a moon is beautiful to watch. I have to say I additionally cherished the GNR needle drops. It's no longer too frequently that I want a movie used to be longer, however this is one of these cases. I sense like we pass over a lot of Thor-Jane moments we want to simply experience the payoff here. Gore is additionally shockingly underutilized and we barely see him butcher any gods. Bale goes all out with a out-of-the-ordinary overall performance as one of the MCU's fine villains, however I simply desired more. Love and Thunder is particularly widespread Marvel fare that we're all accustomed to, which is fine. Then again I would not thought a extra consequential story in Thor's subsequent cosmic outing. Taika has managed to stability humor, emotion and motion in a way that should be skilled in order to be described. The story is extra than interesting. Once again, Waititi factors us in a positive direction, and simply when you assume you be aware of what's going to happen, he turns our heads. If you appreciated Ragnarok, you may like this one too. If not, well, in all likelihood this film will no longer be your cup of tea. At this point, every person is aware of that Hemsworth used to be born for the position of Thor. However, in this movie, he elevates his personality to a definitely one-of-a-kind level. You'll see. Natalie Portman returns as Jane. However, in contrast to preceding movies in which she used to be now not a specially fascinating character, Taika has utilized her magic and, in addition to embodying her in Mighty Thor, makes her a well-built character. Her return to the franchise is necessary for Thor's graduation, however it additionally tells us a story you cannot watch indifferently. She's additionally funny, something we cannot say about her preceding incarnations in the role. All different aiding characters such as Valkyrie, Korg and Guardians additionally add a pinch or greater of themselves to the remaining product. The chemistry between Thor and the Guardians is ridiculous, something we already noticed in Infinity War and Endgame. The chemistry between Valkyrie and Mighty Thor is something I can watch all day. Korg has a better position than, and each scene is pure pleasure. It's what occurs when you make ample pamphlets for a revolution. Christian Bale. Frankly, it is nonetheless surreal that he is phase of the MCU. However, his function as Gore the Godbutcher is pretty the purpose for an actor of his caliber to function it. Gore is brutal. Some of his scenes will continue to be etched in my thought for a lengthy time. However, now not his radical movements are the solely aspect that makes his personality memorable. You recognize that as soon as the villain of the film makes you sympathize with him and recognize him, he is extra than another villain. One of the high-quality motion scenes in the complete Marvel universe is in Love and Thunder. I cannot wait to watch the film again. The movie feels like a series of numerous comedian e-book variants of Thor, tailored in the shape of a film, flooded with a strong dose of fashion and tune from the 80s. Thor, Love and Thunder, is all that was once predicted and more. Taika does not do greater of the same, however pushes the boundaries even more, giving you a stable dose of laughter, motion and feelings that you can also no longer be equipped for. The movie has many great surprises for followers and the love for the small print is visible. The movie surpasses all expectations, balancing in reality bombastic madness with transferring personality-pushed stories. Christian Bale as pinnacle tier and Natalie Portman as clearly outstanding. Waititi may additionally have simply delivered the MCU's quality film of Phase 4 and actually one of the pinnacle 10 in the complete Marvel universe.